question, how are the graphs of y equals root x and y equals root x plus 4 related? Again, we just said that you cannot distribute that radical there. So explore by plugging in values of x and then getting values of y. It's going to be really helpful if we pick values of x to be perfect squares, like 0. So plug in 0, root 0 is 0, plug in 1, root 1 is 1, plug in 4, root 4 is 2, plug in 9 for x, and then root 9 is 3, root 16 is 4, root 25 is 5. Now, for y equals root x plus 4, it will help to pick x more carefully. We still want to try to end up, let's not pick x to be perfect squares anymore because we're not rooting just x, we're rooting x plus 4. So we have to pick our numbers a little more carefully so that what we end up rooting is still a perfect square. So if we plug in negative 4 for x, we'll have root negative 4 plus 4, in other words root 0, which is 0. If we plug in negative 3 for x, we get y equals 1. If we plug in 0 for x, we get y is 2. If we plug in 5 for x, then we have root 5 plus 4. In other words, we have root 9, which becomes 3. If we plug in 12 for x, we're going to get y is 4. And if we plug in 21 for x, we get y is 5. So take a look. This is that standard graph. I want this graph to be one of the ones that you recognize or can draw right away without the chart. Well, again, it's not really using this chart to draw this. We're using the chart here to compare it to the chart there. Okay, so this is that standard sideways half parabola. And now take a look over here. The x values start at negative 4. So the graph looks like this. Take this graph here, and how do we get this graph that's over here? We actually have to shift it to the left. So take the picture or the graph of y equals root x and shift this 4 units to the left in order to get y is equal to root x plus 4. Maybe that's surprising because of the plus 4, that there was a shift to the left. So, in general, what do you do to the graph of y equals f of x to get the graph of y equals f of x plus 4? You have to shift left by 4. In the same way, what do you do to the graph of y equals f of x to get the graph of y equals f of x minus 4? You have to shift right by 4. Yeah, really? Really? Yes. So, from y equals root x, the graph of y equals root x minus 4 is shifted to the right, not to the left. That minus 4 might make you think you shift to the left, but you actually shift to the right. Let's talk about what's going on here. This is because your x value needs to be 4 units larger to compensate for the minus 4 in the formula. There's this minus 4 in here, and if you want to root the same thing, the same value, like let's say you want to root the number 100 is a perfect square. So you plug in x is 100 here, so that you do root 100 and you get y is equal to 10. But if you want to root 100 again, you can't plug in x is 100. You can't even plug in x is 96 because then you'll have 96 minus 4, which is 92, right? Then you'll have root 92. So in order to root the number 100, you have to plug in actually something bigger for x because this minus 4 is going to happen next. So you've got to compensate by making the x value 4 units larger than what we would have had to do over here. So we'll plug in x is 104 to have 104 minus 4 inside the radical. So inside the radical, that would then, by plugging in 104 for x, then x minus 4 would be 100. So we end up rooting 100. Okay, your interactive question. The graph of y equals root x has the point 49, 7. Now, what is the x coordinate of the point on y equals root x minus 4, which has y coordinate 7? In other words, find x so that the point x comma 7 is on the graph of y equals root x minus 4.